Turn your Bibles to John chapter 10. I'm going to read verses 1 through 10 in John chapter 10. I tell you the truth, the man who does not enter the sheep pen by the gate, but climbs in by some other way, is a thief and a robber. The man who enters the gate by the gate is the shepherd of his sheep. The watchman opens the gate for him, and the sheep listen to his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes on ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. But they will never follow a stranger. In fact, they will run away from him because they do not recognize a stranger's voice. Jesus used this figure of speech, but they did not understand what he was telling them. Therefore, Jesus said again, I tell you the truth, I am the gate for the sheep. All who ever came before me were thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. He will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. One of the things that I've been trying to stress lately is truth. Differentiating between what is true and what is not. There's a real war going on for not so much for truth, but just kind of convince you and try to convince us of stuff. I mean, everywhere you look, people are trying to convince you of something. And there's the truth, and and sometimes we get so reluctant to call it a lie. It gets called everything but a lie. But if it's not the truth, it's a lie. But we also want to do that with a certain measure of grace. Right? There's a certain measure of grace. In today's passage, Jesus starts right off by saying in John 10, I tell you the truth. Everything Jesus says is true. When he prefaces his statement with, I tell you the truth, some people say, hey, true story. Jesus said, I'm telling you the truth. We should pay attention. Our ears should perk up with me when Jesus is going to say something important here, because he just says, I tell you the truth. He's warning them here about the man who wants in the sheep, but tries to climb in some other way. This type of man is a thief and a robber, but the man who enters by the gate is the shepherd. And the sheep know the shepherd. I don't know very much about sheep. I know a little bit about sheep. Verse 10 through verse 5 in John 10 tells us they won't follow a stranger. I was actually talking to a guy one time who was selling sheep at a market. However that works. And when the sheep's master would talk, they would hobble in. When the other guy would talk, they would start drifting away. And as the conversation went on, this herd of sheep kind of went back and forth because they know the voice of their master. And they only listen to the voice of the master. They won't listen to another voice. It doesn't matter what the other voice is saying. They won't listen to it. They're never fooled by another voice. And lots of people say lots of things, and it's often difficult to determine who to listen to. I mean, when I was growing up, we had 2, sometimes 3 TV channels, right? Now we have 200 or 300 TV channels. And you can listen to, if you're looking for an opinion, you can find it out there. Someone finds some new opinions. People are saying things that don't matter. And Jesus is telling us in today's passage, there's a difference between the watchman of the sheep and a thief and a robber, and we have to know the difference. The man who does not come in the sheep pen by the gate, but climbs in some other way, he says, is a thief and a robber. Now, no thief or robber is going to call you ahead of time and say, hey, I'm coming over to rob you later on today, be ready for me. They don't give you that kind of a warning, do they? That'd be nice if that wouldn't be very good if they did. No, they're subtle, and they work their way in some other way. They're kind of conniving almost, and kind of lead you to believe that they're on your side, and they have your best interest in mind, when in reality, whose best interest do they have in mind? Their own. So that the man who enters by the gate is the shepherd. The watchman opens the gate, and the sheep listen. Verse 6 tells us that Jesus used this figure of speech, but it says they didn't understand what he was telling them. It is a little confusing sometimes whenever Jesus uses figures of speech. Sometimes those who wish Jesus would just, hey, no metaphor, man, just hit me with it straight. But he's doing this to make a point. He's talking about his sheep, his disciples, listening to his voice and no other voice. And don't worry, anytime Jesus is vague and they don't understand, he almost always doesn't. He clears it up a little bit later. It doesn't take him long to clear it up because Jesus doesn't really want us to be confused. I mean, sometimes you can't help confusion, but we can leave. He does his best to clear it up. The biggest question coming out of chapter 9, is who is Jesus? Who is this guy? Is he from God? Is he a prophet? Is he the Messiah? Or is he a crazy lunatic that's just trying to draw attention to himself? Who is this guy? And Jesus is trying his best to answer their questions. And he says, I tell you the truth. He says, I'm the gate for the sheep. I am the gate for the sheep. He's the gate and the shepherd. That's better. That's good. And he says, all who ever came before me were thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not listen to them. And he says, I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. He will come in and go out and find pasture. And if you're a sheep, a real sheep, a black sheep, that's all you need is pasture. And a shepherd who cares about you. That's all we need, right? David, remember the 23rd Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd. What was the next line? I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd. I'm good, right? I'm good. What else do I need? What else do I need? If Jesus is our shepherd. And Jesus, as sheep, Jesus is telling us that in him, and only in him, is this pasture. If we enter through the gate, then we're saved. Now, nobody wants to be the victim of a thief or be robbed. And some people go, and sometimes we go through great lengths to try to avoid being robbed. Right? So some of us, if you're like me, you just don't have anything. So if they break in, they're going to be disappointed. And so I have a map to Melvin's place. Right? So I'm just kidding, no. But nobody wants to be victimized. But the honest to goodness truth is in verse 10. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. The thief has 3 items in his agenda. Steal, kill, destroy. But Jesus, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. So let's take a look at our lives. Do we have it to the full? Or are we being stolen from, killed, or destroyed? Nobody wants stolen from, killed, or destroyed, but there's a thief that comes to do all those things. And I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news. When somebody says things like that, they say, well, why are you being negative? I'm not being negative. I'm just telling you the truth. That there's an enemy coming to steal, kill, and destroy. And if you're one whose life isn't all that you hope it would be, it may have something to do with who you're listening to. Which voices we're listening to. There's too many voices out there. We only need to listen to one. There are those in the world and even within the church who are stealing and killing and destroying. Jesus didn't say they couldn't get into the sheep pen. You notice he didn't say they couldn't get in. This is kind of what's a little bit, it'd be nice if we could just keep all the bad people out, right? But that's not how we want. We want those people to get saved. And so they come in. He didn't say they couldn't come in. He just said they tried to come in. They're reluctant to come in through the gate. They're going to come in some other way. Because they want in, but they don't want to do it the right way. And if they don't come through the gate that is Jesus Christ, they're thieves and robbers, and we shouldn't listen to them. I mean, a lot of people who call themselves Christians have misguided beliefs. I had a guy a few years ago tell me, and actually he didn't tell me, he told a whole group of us. It was a seminar for young clergy. I'm not sure how much longer I get to go to those, but I was still there. And so he told us, he was retired. He had preached for 30 years. And this is what he said. I'm not exaggerating. This does sound a little exaggerated, but it's not. He says, Jesus isn't the only way, he's just the best way. He isn't the only light, he's just the best light. I was sort of thinking, no, he is the only way. He is the only light. Everything else is darkness. Anybody else is a thief or robber. I was sort of thinking, I hope nobody else in this room is listening to what you said. Because that is not true. That is simply not true. And that's a voice we shouldn't listen to. He's being very thorough, and he says, all, whoever came before me were thieves and robbers. All. That's a big little word, isn't it? It's a very big little word. There isn't another gate. There aren't 15 ways in, and Jesus is the best, and the other 14 will still get you there. No. There isn't another light. Jesus is the light. There aren't a couple other ones that, well, if you can try that other light, you might get you there, but we're not. No, he is the only way. He's telling us that in relatively plain English. That's not a figure of speech. I am the gate. Pretty straightforward. Right? There isn't another way. It's the thieves that are seeking to steal, kill, and destroy. You know, one of the things that makes me the saddest is seeing Christians being stolen from, killed, and destroyed by a thief. And oftentimes we associate this thief with Satan. Well, it's got to be Satan. And he certainly is a thief. But the thief is anyone who tries to sneak in another way. I mean, Satan's just the ringmaster. He's the ringleader. He's the whatever you want to call him. And too many Christians aren't experiencing this fullness of life that Jesus is talking about here. And I finally realized something this week. I'll light one on this week. A couple dots that have always been there finally connected this week for me. Because I used to wonder, why don't enemies of the gospel just do their own thing and leave us alone? Right? Just do your own thing and leave us alone. But you know what? Satan didn't come to build anything. He came to steal, kill, and destroy. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy what we have. He doesn't want to build anything. He doesn't have to do his own thing. Is stealing, killing, and destroying. That's all he has to do. It makes his job a little bit easier. Because it's a whole lot easier to blow things apart than it is to put them together, aren't they? It's like you ever played blocks with a little kid? You stack the blocks and they wham, they knock them down. And you build the blocks and they wham, they knock them down. And you build the blocks and they knock them down. They just have glass doing it. Now they're not. That's just an example. The only thing the enemy has to do is steal, kill, and destroy, to try to knock down what we're trying to build. That's all he has to try to do. And we have to not let him. Jesus came to have life and have it to the full. He wants us to experience this life abundantly. You know, I heard a story. I'm not always the greatest storyteller, but try to get this one right. I heard a story one time about a poor man who dreamed about taking a cruise on a great big ship. All this guy wanted to do was go on a cruise. So he saved up. He saved for years. He saved up all he had. He pinched every penny. And finally, he figured he could buy a ticket. I heard about all the great food that would be on the ship. But the reason that he couldn't afford all the extras. He couldn't afford all he could afford. I just want on a cruise. I won't worry about the food. So he saved up a little extra and he bought some soda crackers. You know, cheap little crackers that don't taste like squat, but you're supposed to spread stuff on it. And he managed to get some cheese and he cooked it with him. And while everybody else was chowing down on the fine cuisine, he sat in his room and ate his crackers and cheese. Just glad to be along for the ride. He managed to save a little bit extra money on the last day of the cruise. He figured he'd go to the dining hall and at least have one great meal. And when he got there and he tried to pay, he was shocked to find out that they had been holding a place for him all week because the price of the meals was included in the price of the ticket. He had already paid for all those meals. He wasn't eating. And too many Christians and too many churches were eating cheese and crackers when we should be eating steak. Right? We're stuck with this case because we think, oh, well, this is as good. No, there's just a better way. Jesus is the way. And we don't have to be stolen from, killed, and destroyed. But it's going to come down to who we're listening to, who we pay attention to. The sheep know the voice of the master. And too often we get caught listening to voices that aren't the shepherd, that aren't Jesus. But they're loud. They're eloquent. They use fancy words. And they make us feel like we're doing something wrong if we don't embrace everything they want us to embrace. We only listen to the voice of Jesus. We should only listen to the voice of Jesus. The thief doesn't build. Remember, the thief wants to steal, kill, and destroy. What Jesus is trying to do in your life, in the life of Plum. Jesus came to have life and have it to the full. And as we sing our closing hymn this morning, it's I can't have any more words for you because they're in this song. This song, Savior, like a shepherd, lead us. Why? Because we need thy tender care. We need him. We need him, and we need to follow him. So let that be our prayer as we close our worship this morning. It's number 688. Let's stand. Oh, sorry. I usually give you